Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where I discuss all things human design. On today's episode, I'm going to be continuing the conversation around the energy centers and the gates found within them. If you've been following along, then you may already know that I have discussed and reviewed the root and solar plexus energy centers, which I will link in the description box below. And if you're completely new here and you have no idea what human design is, I've linked several resources in the description box below where you can learn more about your human design type for free. Lastly, before I dive into the Sacral Energy Center, make sure to hit that subscribe button as I put out 2 new videos each week, and I cannot wait to continue sharing with you more on human design from our real life experience. Today I have a lot to share. There are a lot of gates to cover in the sacral, so I will do my best to chat a little bit about the sacral before I dive into the gates and make this an easy to follow video that is interesting, engaging, and just another resource for you on your journey to learning more about your human design. I do want to preface this that I will be referencing the definitive book of human design, The Science of Differentiation, which was co-written by the founder, Ra-Uru Hu, and I will also be referencing my own personal notes that are handwritten here. I have been studying human design for over 7 years, and I never got around to typing them up. And while I do have most of the things I want to say memorized, I do like to reference and make sure I don't miss anything. I have a lot of detail aspects of my own human design chart, so I always like to share all the details I can and just provide another resource for you to learn more about human design. When it comes to the Sacral Energy Center, it is unique in that only generator energy will have a defined Sacral Energy Center. This includes pure generators as well as manifesting generators. If you're looking down at a chart and you don't see that the square that represents the sacral is defined or colored in here, then you have what's called an undefined sacral energy center, and this would mean that you are either a manifestor, projector, or a reflector. Generator energies actually create their own energy by doing what they love, and it is through their sacral that they create this energy. The sacral energy center governs the gut as well as the sexual organs, and also governs our creativity and desires. If you have an undefined sacral energy center, this does not mean that you're not creative and that you don't have desires. Rather, you magnify the creativity and desires of those around you. So for example, if you're a projector simply working in the same space as a generator energy, you may find that for the day, you're able to operate as a generator, that you're able to work 10 hours straight and not take any breaks and feel really motivated with the work that you're doing. Even though in your actual design, you may find that it's more aligned to take multiple breaks throughout the day. Before I dive into all of the gates and the characteristics found within the gates, I do want to preface that anything I speak about today, if it does not resonate with you, or you find that you have that gate and you don't feel that's the way that you operate, or you wish you had that gate but you don't have that gate, this is all just meant to be purely informational and a fun way to learn about human design. And if you don't have a gate but you really resonate with it, we actually experience all of the gates, whether it's in a moon transit or a sun transit. And I won't dive down that rabbit hole today, but we are always experiencing all of the energy centers throughout the weeks and the days. So even if you don't have something defined today, you may in a different case, in the sense that we might be going as a collective through the sun transit or the moon transit of that gate. If you have your chart in front of you, I will be beginning with the gate 29. And if you need to pause and pull up your chart, I've linked several resources in the description box where you can pull up your chart for free. And I'll just be going along from gate 29, moving left to gate 14 and 5, and so on. I'll be referencing the textbook for the exact name of the gate, and then I will also be referencing my personal notes to share with you some examples of what the gate looks like from our real life experience. Gate 29 is the gate of perseverance. And when I think about the gate 29 in the real world, I think about these people as the real people's people. They love being around people, and you may find that if you have a gate 29, you actually prefer to live with people rather than living on your own. You might enjoy being in a community or living with others, having roommates. If you are working, you might find that you enjoy being part of a team, and that if you are not working as part of a team, you're always kind of looking for ways to work with people, be in front of people, and engaging with others. When it came down to the pandemic, I had a few friends that had the gate 29 that in the beginning really suffered because they lived on their own and they no longer were going into an office and working with a team. And so what they ended up setting up was hourly Zoom call just for the purpose of working with others. So even though the Zoom call was not necessarily a chat, it was just kind of opening up the Zoom to have others around them and in their presence while they were working. This is just one example of many. I could make entire videos on each of these gates, but I do want to save you and my voice as I go along. Next up, we have gate 14. Gate 14 is the gate of power skills. And the gate 14 is quite an interesting one as it is quite paradoxal. I say paradoxal because the gate 14 is all about encouraging the energy of those around you and really amplifying the good in others. And you do this naturally, so it's not something you see, it's simply by your presence that others are amplified. And having this awareness and then realizing that that is what's going on can bring a lot of clarity to a situation, as those with the gate 14 may struggle with the idea that those around them are always becoming successful and they might not be seeing the success on their own. And this is because society has conditioned us to compete and work against one another. But when we actually celebrate the success of others and we show gratitude and send love to the others that are working with us or that are in our environment, that is actually how the gate 14 can get into alignment and also be successful. An example I like to use with clients is thinking back to high school and working in partners or working in pairs. Has there ever been a time, if you have the gate 14, where you were working in a partnership in high school and your partner got recognized for doing all the work and you felt like you were doing all the work? So you felt this resentment energy. You felt a little bit like, hey, how come I'm not being seen? I did all the work. Why is my partner getting all of the recognition? And if you were told to send love and gratitude towards your partner who's getting recognized, you might think, why should I do that? That makes no sense. And that's the paradox. By doing so, you can actually create the space to also receive that recognition. An example I also had recently with a client was a woman who teaches a course and all of her students have become wildly successful and she is still struggling. So she came to me feeling a little bit like, hey, nobody is recognizing me. All of my clients are now 10xing their sales. I'm still struggling. What should I do? And my advice for her was to ask for testimonials from these clients that took courses and took coursework from her, but also to celebrate their success and to leave a review for all of those clients and to send out love and gratitude and see what happens. And this might have been the opposite of what my client wanted to do, but this is the way to work with the paradoxical energy of the gate 14. The next gate is gate 5, and gate 5 is the gate of fixed patterns, and one of the most fascinating ones to me. I think that I wish I had a gate 5, and perhaps that's because I have the opposite gate, which is gate 15, and that forms a channel. I won't go into channels today, but the gate 5 is fascinating to me for many reasons. One, because those with the gate 5 kind of operate on their own time. If you have a gate 5, you may have been trying to stick to a 9-to-5 schedule. You may have been told your whole life that it's good to have a morning routine or that you need to go to bed early, when really you might find that you love answering emails from 3 p.m. or that at 2 a.m. is when you get your best work done. Whenever I'm working with an employee and I have the opportunity to work with the upper management, I often encourage upper management to take notice or take note of those with a gate 5 on the team and encourage them to actually operate on their own schedule rather than trying to fit into the schedule of the company if it's possible. I also found that during the pandemic, many of you with the gate 5 actually thrived because you finally had the opportunity to set up your own schedule and not necessarily work what is the standard 9 to 5 that society has put on us. Another aspect that I have found fascinating about the gate 5 is that you're really good at setting up different rituals and patterns and altars around the house. And what I mean by that is, when I say altars, I don't mean a religious altar. I mean almost in any sense. So this could be how you put your hairbrush and your makeup on your counter in the bathroom. This could be how you set up your nightstand. This might be even how you set up your photos on the mantle above your fireplace. I am always encouraging my gate 5s to look into this, and more often than not, when I ask a gate 5 about their altar situation and if they have a way of setting things up around the house, they always share with me that they have anywhere from 2 to 5 to 10 or 20 altars. And again, not religious altars, I just mean how they place things in ways that just make sense to them. It's almost a little bit of a Virgo energy, but I don't know if that would be the correct way to explain it. This is just my own experience and observation of those with the gate 5. Coming up is the gate 34, and the gate 34 is the gate of power. This is really how I was essentially introduced to all of this work. I got into human design via the Gene Keys, and my mentor who introduced me to the Gene Keys introduced me because I had the gate 34. And the gate 34 is the only gate I have defined in my sacral. The 34 are those that have this magnetic energy about them. And similar to the gate 14, it's not something that you can actually see, but it's something you can experience. For example, someone at the gate 34 might go to a party and they might not necessarily be the most extroverted person wanting to talk to everyone in the room. However, when they're trying to just grab a snack or grab a drink at the party, somehow they end up engaging with everyone in the room. If someone with a gate 34 leaves a party with a friend, the friend might say that they met a couple of people at the party, where the gate 34 might feel like they met almost everyone at the party. And it wasn't really their intention, it's just that they attract others into their aura. They have this magnetic charisma about them that attracts people in who want to interact with them. This can be quite confusing. I can say from my own personal experience, I've attended many conferences, and always I will be at a conference chatting with someone, meeting with someone, doing a little bit of networking, and people just want to grab coffee, or they want to hang out afterwards, or they want to become friends almost. And I always feel, I have this human defense of, why do you want to hang out with me? What do you want from me? What did I do? And it has nothing to do with that. That's our human ego getting in the way, having us question everything. And the magnetic charisma is a really special kind of power in a way, but not in a sense of ego power, rather in a sense of energetic power, just attracting others. In my own experience, the way I see the gate 34 is kind of like being the ultimate dot connector, because people they come in naturally and they're attracted to your energy for whatever reason. And paired with my personal profile 4, which I'll be getting into profiles another time, but if you're interested in learning about the lines that make up the profiles, I'll make sure to link that below. I naturally love to connect the dots and to matchmake and introduce people. So I think that's how my 34 plays for me, paired with my profile 4. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that and how you think your gate 34 shows up in your life. Moving on, we have gate 27. Gate 27 is the gate of caring, and these individuals are the ultimate caregivers. However, it's extremely important to be aware of when you are giving too much and you're not paying attention to yourself. For example, if you have a gate 27 and you had a friend who needed help after surgery for 6 weeks, and they asked you if you could help them for 6 weeks, 1 hour every day, especially if you're a generator energy or you have a 5 in your profile. So if, for example, if you're a 5-1 or a 5-2, you might feel this sense of obligation, like you have to say yes, and you don't even want to answer that open-ended what if question, what if you say no? And what ends up happening, being that caregiver energy, having that gate 27, is that for a few days you can sustain helping your friend out, but midweek or 2 weeks in, you might feel like, wow, I really don't have an hour to give every day. How do I manage this? And you might start showing up with whatever your not self theme is. So in the case of generators, that might be that not self theme of frustration. Coming back to this, a way to mitigate that is to invite others to help out. So if a friend were to ask you for help for 6 weeks, no problem, you can help them, but can you also create a Google spreadsheet with multiple names and allow people to sign up for different dates where they could also volunteer an hour of their time and also contribute to helping your friend out? This is just one example, but I do like to really drive it home with an example, because those with the gate 27 are often sacrificing their own energy for the benefit of others, to care for others. And you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're becoming codependent or you're relying on helping others and you're not paying attention to yourself. The next gate I'm going to speak about is gate 42. And gate 42 is the gate of growth in the book. And I like to think of gate 42 as the analyzer. These are people who love to analyze everything, every aspect about a situation before moving on to the next step. Oftentimes in the workplace, you'll hear about needing to look at what went well, what didn't go well, and how to set up for the next step in, let's say, a sales cycle. Those with a gate 42 will analyze the full process and are really good at it, and actually are able to create strategies and structure around this. The next gate is a very interesting one, and one that when I'm working with clients, I like to spend a little bit of extra time on. And that is the gate 3. Gate 3 is the gate of ordering, and it is seen as this gate that really is able to make order out of chaos. And it is said that those with the gate 3 have a sort of predetermined contract or soul contract that experiences some sort of trauma, perhaps in this lifetime, perhaps in a previous lifetime, that they need to go through, that can seem quite messy, that allows them to then bring order to a situation that ultimately had been messy. That is a very ominous way of describing this. I'll take a look at my notes to see if there's anything else, but it really is about healing trauma in order to then heal others. And that is much of our own experience as humans. All of us are going through our own soul experiences. We all have things that are perhaps predetermined in this lifetime that we are remembering how to experience or learning how to get over in order to help others. That's part of the cycle. But those with the gate 3 are usually able to pinpoint a couple of those experiences. And that is super interesting when I'm working individually with a client one-on-one. We look at the gate 3 that they might have, and we look at the planet or the node, or if it shows up in the sun or moon, and we see how that shows up in their own life and how that plays a role. The next gate is the gate 9, and the gate 9 is the gate of energy for detail. And let me tell you, those with the gate 9 are extremely detail oriented. They are really good at spotting the details, even if in their chart they might be more big picture oriented based on transformation arrows, or they might always be able to spot in the big realm of things what's missing. They're also very detail oriented. So I personally consider myself detail oriented. I don't have the gate 9, and I feel like the gate 9 is next level when it comes to the details. They're always able to make a little small change or notice something that's missing. And I think that's super helpful, especially again in the workplace, being able to spot what's missing, perhaps in the kitchen, being able to determine what spice needs to be added. Those are just a couple of examples of how the gate 9 might show up in the real world. The last gate I'm going to speak about today is the gate 59, which in human design is the gate of sexuality. In my own terms, the way I like to think about the gate 59 is not really about sexuality, and you might have heard me speak about it in the past. I don't think about human design as a place of understanding romantic love. It's not a place to understand who is compatible, who's not compatible, rather a place to understand how your energy shows up in the presence of other energies. Ultimately, human design is the study of the hologram, and the way you can think about this is that we are all different, unique angles of the same hologram. So we're all, in a way, part of the same collective energy. When it comes to the gate 59, these people are amazing matchmakers. They're really good at bringing people together, especially people that you would least expect. So for example, perhaps people that you would never think would connect with one another, that are perhaps competitors in an industry or that are not from the same background. These are people who are able to facilitate those kind of connections. And that's what I think about when I think about the gate 59. I have now covered all of the gates found in the sacral, and I just have to say, how cool is it when we think about how different all of these gates are? I hope you found this fun. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you have any of these gates defined in your chart. Lastly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as I put out 2 new videos each week. I can't wait to continue the conversation and share with you more on human design and our real life experience.